We're doing a little update video today on the Yamaha Bear, Yamaha Big Bear 350 91. Watched a couple videos online on how to remove that rear diff, because I was going to show you, as promised, I was going to show you a fix for the rear diffs. However, every video I seen said that axle right there for the rear tire must come out from the differential side, which would be this side. However, in theory, that I have anyways, I have two lock collar nuts right there, and there is absolutely nothing on this side underneath that brake cover. So I'll just show you the old diff that I had here. Sorry, I'm still hopping around. I'm still got a broken leg. So here's the old diff here. Now as coming over here, you can see there's nothing there. There's no kind of lock rings or anything on there whatsoever. It's just a bearing collar in there, and that's it. The diff side, however, has threaded grooves for lock nuts that go on there. So every single video I seen said to come out, that it has to be tapped out from there, and then it would come out the diff side. However, after beating on it for for I don't know how long, I beat on it for a long time, it did not budge, and I didn't want to mess up the threads on the axle before having a fix for it. So I decided I have another 350 moto 4, and I thought, well, is it possible that they have the same rear ends? They don't. So going to show you here how I did this. Please excuse the jerkiness of the camera. So what you're looking at here is a diff from a 350 Moto 4, two-wheel drive. It did take a little bit of work to customize it to fit. However, it does fit, and this is a fully functional rear end fix for a Big Bear if you can't get your hands on an actual Big Bear rear end. The 350 will do. All you have to do, as you can see, that swing arm carrier right here, okay, right there, right up that side. I took about 1/4 inch off, and it slid right in there. The swing arm bolt went in from the side through the frame. It was kind of something like that. It would go in right around there, and that supports the rear swing arm. The rear diff, to hook it up, I simply took the longer drive shaft from the Moto 4. There's a little short stubby shaft on the inside from the diff to the engine, or to the universal, I should say, that's connected to the engine. Oh, sorry, that fell on my head. And yeah, I connected that, and it worked perfectly. Everything lined up perfectly as far as the swing arm mount holes. They were already perfectly dead on, so I didn't have to do any kind of modification there. The diff ring gear is the exact same as the Big Bear, so therefore you're still getting the same differential gearing. So therefore it's not going to mess up your front end differential drive. So just a couple things I thought was a pretty cool little mod that can be done. If and I used the Moto 4 shock as well. The Big Bear shock was too short. Reason being is the carrier is lower on this diff than the other one, so therefore you need that extra little length for it to reach that carrier down there. So other than that, it was simply, like I said, I shaved about 1/4 inch off of that guy there, and it slid right in. The only thing that was a little bit of a trouble, was a little bit of work, was the actual hookup of the stubby shaft on the inside there. It was a little bit of a trick to try and line it up while we were pushing it in, but however we did, it would be easier if you had your rear end removed. But like I said, every video I seen online was contradicting itself, and I didn't want to beat the hell out of a good diff and end up frigging it up. So I said, fuck it, and we did a lot of playing around with it, and it took us about half an hour to get that thing hooked up. So if I were to recommend, I would say take the rear axle out, take the diff apart here. Unfortunately, it's a lot more work, but it'll hook up a lot easier than the way I did it, I'm sure, as it took us about half an hour, 45 minutes of playing with it to get it to hook up. Another thing, faded plastics. This thing was pretty rough. It still is, because I didn't spend much time on it, but just give you an idea there. You can take off a lot of fade with, you know, like a 150 grit sponge sander. Take off the majority of the fade. As you can see, I didn't get into any grooves or anything. I just did it fast just to see what kind of outcome it was going to have, and it did surprisingly make quite a bit of difference. Just well, it's still an old machine. It's well used, but it runs good, and that rear diff is fully functional. So the only difference were the crown nuts. The crown nuts there are a little bit smaller. However, the axle size is still the same. So your spline for your hubs, they'll line right up. So that's no issue. You can still use your existing tires and rims. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool thing if people wanted a fix for a Big Bear. If they don't have the actual Big Bear axle and can get their hands on a 350 Moto 4. That was an 88 Moto 4, and this is a 91 Big Bear. Okay, sorry, I just trying to hop back here. I got the booster cables on it because I was starting it earlier there to make sure that rear diff was working, and works flawlessly. So I'm pretty impressed with that, and yeah, there'll be more to come. Thanks.